Get my lunch packed up, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Back to school. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we did this back to school makeup look. It's really geared towards anyone who's really just getting into makeup and you want to purchase a few affordable products and sort of learn how to wear it. So I hope that you learned something from this today, and if you want to see how I got this look, just keep on watching. So I want to start out by showing you guys what we got at the store today. As far as your foundation, you need something to apply it. You can use your fingers, that's fine. I don't particularly like to use my fingers. A couple of options that I would recommend are, first, the Real Techniques sponges. What are these called? Miracle complexion sponges. You can also use these just regular cosmetic makeup wedges. They work fine as well. So if mom doesn't want to spend $10, she can get these for like $2.50. I have wet these before. You can get them wet as well and it will work a little better. Obviously, it's not quite as good as the sponges, but they work as well. And you could get a brush if you want. I don't have a drugstore brush that I would recommend right now, but you could use a brush if you found one. I would recommend more of a dense brush. This is dirty, but you can see it's not super fluffy. And that's a really good brush to blend in foundation with. So if you can find something like that, I would recommend it. For foundation, I chose the Revlon Color Stay for normal to dry skin. I have dry skin, so I really do like this one. I have the Wet n Wild stick foundations as well, and those are really good, but I have to really moisturize with those because I do have dry skin. So if you have oily skin, I would recommend the Wet n Wild stick foundations. I have them. Hang on. These are good as well. But what I will be using today is the Revlon. I think it's not too light. I hope I got the correct shade. For concealer, I picked out the Maybelline Master Conceal. This is in the shade Light, and there's one lighter than this, but there's only like 5 colors. So hopefully you can find your match. I like this one. I think it will be a good shade. I've used the lighter one before for highlighting purposes, but if we're just concealing, you want something that matches your skin tone. For powder, setting powder, I use the e.l.f. translucent powder. It is a HD powder and it can have flashbacks, so use it sparingly. And just keep that in mind. And then I've been wanting to try this bronzer. I have not hopped on the boat for this yet, so this is my first time going to try this today. But it is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Wet n Wild makes great blushes. This is the Mellow Wine shade. I feel like that's a really pretty color, so we're gonna try it today. And if you want to use a highlighter, because everybody does, I really like the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powders. These are absolutely incredible. So if you need a highlighter, you need the highlight in your life, I would recommend those. And then for eyeshadow, we have the NYX Ultimate Edit palette. I just picked this up. I've heard that their eyeshadows are really great, and this particular palette was speaking to me, so we picked that out for today. And then for eyeshadow brushes, these are about $5. I think they were like $5.99. Yeah, $5.99 for the Eco Tools double-ended brush. So you only have 2 brushes, but you have 4 brush heads because they're double-ended. So I feel like you get a lot for your money here. This is pretty much all you need for your eyes. I will show you. Better Than Sex Mascara is my favorite, and I've heard this is a great dupe for that, so we are going to try this as well. Let's get our butter bronzer out. Bruh. Smell test. We gotta know if this is legit. They weren't playing. You know what it smells like? Okay, did any of you have those Barbies? They were like, I think they were called like Malibu Barbies or something. I'm pretty sure, but they had like soft stomachs and they came with like swimwear and like shorts and like beach wear. And they all smelled like this. They smelled good. Barbies, yes. I'm talking about Barbies. They smelled like coconuts and heaven. So when I was growing up and just wearing makeup, I thought concealer went on first and then foundation. Apparently that's not the case. So I'm gonna start with my foundation. I look like a weirdo. That might be a little bit light, but luckily we have the bronzer that we can use. I need to go wet my sponge, and I'm so frugal that I'm just gonna hope that this stays on my hand this whole time. Be right back. And I'm just gonna dot it all over. It's a little pale. It's all right though. I'm gonna blend out the foundation with tapping motions and just work it into the skin. The shade is a little bit light for me. I would get a darker shade next time, but still a really great foundation. That one is nice. This concealer is gonna be darker. This concealer is closer to my normal skin color, but once we add the bronzer and everything, it'll blend it in. Most places, if you get the wrong shade, will let you return the product. So if you get the wrong shade, see if you can return it and swap it out for the correct shade. So I'm blending it out with the same sponge. I take whatever is left on the sponge and I just drag it over my eyelids as well to prime them for the eyeshadow later. Once you have on your concealer and foundation, if you're wearing foundation, go in with a little bit of powder. I am using the e.l.f. HD translucent powder. Another one that I've heard is really good is the Maybelline Fit Me powders. Those are, I don't think they have a translucent one in the Fit Me powders, but I heard they are very good. So if you can find something that matches your skin tone, I would recommend those powders as well. So I actually put a little bit of powder in the lid, and then I tap my sponge in there. And this really helps melt the powder into the skin without looking super powdery. Since I have dry skin, I do not set my entire face. I only set in certain areas where it may crease, like under the eyes and around the smile lines and around the nose. So once you have that set, you're going to want to go in with some bronzer to keep working on the face. I'm going to use this brush that I spoke of, the Real Techniques blush brush. It's rather large to be a blush brush, but we will be using the same brush for the blush as well, so we'll see how that works. I can't with this, y'all. Load up the brush and tap off the excess. Starting back here, I'm going to lightly blend it. Ooh, I like the shade. But I'm just starting in the back by my hairline. I kind of look at it at the top of the ears. This is where our cheekbone starts. And you just want to keep it deeper up there and then blend it forward a little bit. Keep a light hand so that it blends into the skin really nice, and make sure that you tap off the excess and then place the brush first where you want it to be the deepest, which is going to be back here for me. That way you don't get a big blotchy spot, you know, right in the middle of the cheek. You want it to kind of fade in. I love it. I like to take it on my temples and bring it up just a little bit, but keep a light hand. You don't want a big brown big brown stripe across your forehead. This is one thing I really like to do that gives a natural sun-kissed glow. I just take it right across, really lightly. And it just looks like you've been out in the sun all cute like. So obviously I love this bronzer now. It's a new favorite. I'm obsessed. It smells fantastic. But I did want to give you guys another option because the butter bronzer is $15. Let me look up how much this one is. Walmart has the Rimmel Natural Bronzer for $3.97 and Target has it for $5.79. So for about $5, you can get this, whereas this is $15. And this is a really nice bronzer. They have different shades as well. It doesn't smell like pina coladas. I'm getting caught in the rain, but it's really nice. It's a little bit warmer than the butter bronzer that I just purchased. I don't think they have as cool a shade as this. So if you're very fair, I would recommend splurging a little bit on this one, to be honest with you, but these are really great as well. I do recommend the Wet n Wild Mega Glow. These are absolutely gorgeous highlighters. I think they are about $5. Let me just look because I didn't purchase this today. I see on the World Wide Web. These are $5.49 and they are absolutely gorgeous. You don't have to use highlighter, but if you do, I recommend this one. And I will actually use my finger, swirl it around in there. Ooh, gorgeous. And then I'll kind of start here and then I'll use a different finger and sort of blend it out. Place it first where you want it to be the brightest and then just blend it out. I like to take it a little bit above the brow right here to add a little lift, tiny bit down the bridge of the nose. You don't want to be too heavy-handed with it, but oof, gorgeous. Gorgeous. I do a little bit on the chin. I'm dry, okay? If you're oily, don't do it, but I do it. So I'm just going back with that bronzer brush, just kind of blending it in. All right, so blush, again, I got the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in the shade Mellow Wine. This is $2.99 at Target. And what I'm gonna do is use the same brush that we used the bronzer. You can wipe off the product. e.l.f. has a brush cleaner for $5 that you can purchase as well, just to keep your brushes nice and clean and to use in between shades to get the makeup off. I'm just gonna wipe it off on the towel. Just get it on like the tip of the brush. Tap off the excess and just apply it to the apples of the cheeks and sweep back. Sometimes I just like to, just a little bit on the nose. It's just something I've always done. I just wiped off the brush on my towel again, just blending it in. We did put a little bit of concealer on the eyes and that is good enough to prime, in my opinion. You can buy a separate eyeshadow primer. I believe NYX has a good one or something like that. But I just use the concealer. It conceals any imperfections and veins on the eyelids, as well as kind of helps the eyeshadow to have something to stick to. If you're just starting out, you don't have to wear eyeshadow. Eyeshadow can be scary. You can go a little heavy-handed, especially with these beautiful shades here. You just need to be careful with that. So maybe practice before you first day of school or before you go back a little bit to just get it right. But you could just go without eyeshadow. That is perfectly fine. You can just pop on a little bit of mascara and be good to go. I did a black lipstick tutorial and you can see there that I just concealed my eye area and put on mascara and did my eyebrows, and that was it. So you could definitely do that and not even mess with eyeshadows. But I'm gonna do a quick little simple eyeshadow look for you guys today for learning purposes with these affordable brushes from Eco Tools. I'm gonna start with this light shade over here. It's about the color of my skin. And I'm gonna go in with this side of the brush with the smudger. This little fluffy side. Just go right in there. Ooh, feel nice. A little powdery, but nice. Just gonna go right in the crease. It's a really light shade. It might not show up very much. On me, it's showing up a little bit. If you're darker than me, it might not show up. You could probably go in with this shade to start as more of a transition. I'm gonna start with this one. This is just gonna give any darker shade something to blend into so that it fades nicely into the skin. You don't wanna have a harsh line of dark eyeshadow. It's best to start with something lighter and build up the depth right there in the crease, and I'll show you. I'm gonna go in with this shade. It's a little bit darker. If you started out with this shade, maybe go in with this shade. We're just gonna start deepening up the crease. Now we're gonna keep this really low, right in the crease. Start on the outer edge because that's where you want it to be darkest, and then just blend it right in. I'm gonna go in with the darkest shade over here. I'm still using the same brush. It's pretty small, so it's no problem to use the same one and just go right there on the edge. Just make sure to keep it really low. Don't bring it up too high. We want that nice gradient. I'm wiping off that brush to make sure there's no more product, and then just going over everything really lightly to blend it out. So for the lid, what I want to do, I want to keep this look really natural. We don't want to go too crazy with it. So I'm going to take the lightest shade that we went into for the transition, and I'm going to take that right on the inner portion of my eye, on the inside of the lid. And then you can take one of the shimmery shades. I'm gonna go in with this one, but we're gonna go in with that more cranberry shimmery shade and take that sort of in the center. Blend it with the outside and the inside. We wanna keep the inside portion pretty light, and that is going to keep the eyes awake and open and very gorgeous. This side of the brush we used for all of our eyeshadow. Now we're gonna go in with the smudger end. I'm gonna take this mid-tone shade that we used second in the crease on the smudger side and just smudge it along the lower lash line. I'm going to take this angled brush with the darkest brown in the palette. Take that right along the lash line. I'm also going to take the same brush with that dark brown and take it just along the upper lash line. This is just going to deepen it up. All right, and that is the eyeshadow look done. Very simple, pretty quick as well. Brows. I did not purchase a brow product at Target today because honestly, I kind of forgot about them. But we do have affordable options. So ColourPop has to be shipped. Ordered online. It's not in drugstores anywhere, but they have wonderful brow pencils, and you can get this very light shade up to a very dark shade as well. Also, BH Cosmetics. I have these little small palettes, which I don't think they have anymore, but I know that they have a large brow palette with several different brow powders. So I would recommend those as well. One thing I have gotten at Target before in the past is the Essence Brow Gels. This is Make Me Brow. You could start out by just using one of these and just comb it through the brows. This is a light shade because my hair is so light right now. I like to lighten them up with lighter brow products. Those are my options that I would recommend. I'm gonna go in with both actually, the ColourPop pencil as well as the powders. This is just a little light. In some areas I like to deepen them up with the brow powders. I'm just gonna go in with this darker cool tone shade in this brow palette, and I just like to deepen up right there along the edge. Bring it up a little bit. Go right back in with that spoolie and just make sure that they're in place. So we got the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. It's supposed to be a really good dupe for the Better Than Sex mascara. I can get it for $10 instead of like $20. Oh yes, I like. Mascara can be tricky. I pretty much get it everywhere every time I do makeup, regardless. You can see I got it on my lid a little bit, and I will show you. We're just gonna leave it alone for now, let it dry, and I'll show you how you can get it off. So we're gonna take a Q-tip. We're gonna go get a Q-tip. One moment. Just gonna take the Q-tip and just gently rub. And when the mascara is dry, it comes right off. That's it. Trick of the day, tip of the day, tip of the day. So, lip products. We're going to school. We're gonna be working all day. We're gonna have lunch. If you're anything like me and you have dry skin, you also have dry lips. You want to keep them moisturized all day, right? Also, I'm a lip biter. You know, if you wear some bright matte lipstick, it's just going to get irritating all day. So what I would recommend, especially if you're just starting out wearing makeup, is some sort of tinted lip balm. You could even just wear chapstick. Wipe your foundation off of your lips. You'll want to wipe the foundation off of your lips and everything and just put a little chapstick on and you're good to go. I have, and this came in an Ipsy bag, so I don't know if this is Drugstore. I'm not really sure what it is exactly. It's hibiscus, but it's literally like my lip color, but better. It's also a little bit shimmery. That just looks gross. It's a little bit shimmery, but it looks really pretty on. I recommend the Burt's Bees tinted lipsticks or tinted lip shimmer, but they are very good for your lips as well, and they're just tinted. I'm actually going to go in with this one, but there are options for lips that you can do since you have to wear it all day. But that is it. That's a natural makeup look that you can wear all day. I have glasses that I wear, so I'll go ahead and put my glasses on. That is it for this back to school makeup tutorial. I hope that you learned something. I hope that I was able to help you in some way. If you didn't know where to start with makeup or what products to buy, I hope that I was able to be of some help. And thank you guys so much for being here, for hanging out, for watching. If you haven't already, click that red subscribe button down below to subscribe to my channel, and click the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, or if you just like me. That'd be cool. But thank you guys so much. I hope I see you next time, or the time after that, or the time after that. I love you so much. Okay, bye. Back to school. A back to school person. My God, I suck.